Warning, Agents of Sir is here to bring you the truth, and sometimes the truth hurts. Sometimes the truth has spoilers. Sometimes the truth contains nuts. So take caution and enjoy.
This is a special bulletin from All Tower Media. Masked vigilantes have been sighted and folks from around the world are concerned. Just who might they be and what threats do they present? Luckily for the world, Agents of Sir, they're putting in those hours gathering that intel for you. We go now to the Agents of Sir headquarters at All Tower Media for their report as they bring us up to date on the world of masked vigilantes, and we reveal their secrets.
Hello and welcome to Agents of Sir. I have the original agents with me. How are you, Agent Dawson?
I'm doing good.
Excellente. And Agent Jones.
I'm back! Well, at least for this episode.
Been out there in the field tracking down supers. Is that what you've been doing?
Yes, we'll go with that.
Something like that?
And defusing bombs.
That was like the best thing ever. Did you see the post from Arch Crusader on that?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, well, you should check that out. It's really, really funny.
I will.
So anyhow, Josie, we've had kind of a blasé kind of month this last month.
We really have. I'm hoping that American Gods saves the month of April.
Yes.
That looks super good. I have not.
I love the book.
Yeah.
Well, I love Neil Gaiman in general. I also love all of his graphic novels.
Yes.
Like Death, The High Cost of Living, and Death, The Time of Your Life are two of the most important books I've ever read. They helped me get through being a teenager. No, I watched, Iron Fist and Ghost in the Shell.
Those are the two kind of top-end things that we got to go off of here. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, well, those were the two new things I watched this month of any note, and they were okay.
They were just okay.
I know a lot of people actually straight up hated Iron Fist.
Yeah,
and
I finally got to the point where I just had to turn that son of a bitch off. I did.
I will admit I did too, but I forced myself a few days later to go ahead and finish because I did want to have context for all of the characters going into Defenders. But yeah, I agree. It was kind of
And that's where I think the problem starts for Iron Fist. Because his solo series, came out at the tail end of them wanting to group everybody together for the Defenders, to where his story got sacrificed.
So you're saying that Marvel pulled a DC?
A little bit, yeah. They got so focused on setting up the Defenders, and I mean, that's a super cool teaser trailer too, using the song "Come As You Are," and intentionally lining up the lyrics with specific characters.
Yep. But
90%, Iron Fist ended up being unfocused is the biggest problem. Because for the longest time, I thought we were supposed to pay attention to Boromir. I can't remember the actor's name, so he is forever going to be Boromir.
You mean Faramir?
Oh, wait, no. Faramir, that's right.
Yes.
Boromir.
I'm like, I know this guy, and then finally I'm like, oh, fuck, it's Faramir. And it's the funny little monk from Van Helsing.
You're a funny monk.
I know that actor's been in, several other things, but, 90% of the people in The Lord of the Rings are only ever going to be remembered for Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. But, I don't know if focus was the only problem. I had heard, and it shows painfully on screen, that the choreography of the fighting was literally rehearsed immediately before shooting.
Yeah, which that works for Jessica, that works for Luke, because they're not, ninjas the way that Danny and Matt are supposed to be.
Right.
But that makes a problem. Danny Rand has spent his entire adolescence being trained by alternate dimension monks to learn kung fu and all different kinds of martial arts. He really should have had far more choreography.
Oh yeah, it just there were some times when they were like fighting and throwing punches, it almost appeared as if that was the rehearsal. Like they were slow, deliberate, and it just wasn't fluid at all.
It's the problem of, like, in Daredevil, it looks like choreographed fighting, where part of your brain's like, I know this isn't real fighting, but I don't care because it looks awesome.
Right.
And, the acting is done very well because, he makes you feel every hit. But Danny looked more like he was dancing, like he was counting instead of fighting.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that didn't help. And on top, by the way, who called that hot Asian chick was part of the Hand?
Oh, yeah, that was... just like all of the fight scenes, that was heavily telegraphed as well.
Yeah, halfway through the second episode, I was like, why are we focusing... Oh, she's going to be in the Hand.
Yeah, to me, the Hand in this felt more like the way they put it together. See, okay, so I've played some digital games that have the Hand in it, right? Actually, on my phone, I've been playing a mobile game that has the Hand in it, and they're a fucking problem. Okay, they're a real fucking problem. Whenever I'm battling them in this particular game, and I won't get into the specifics of what it is, but whenever I'm in this game, it's a fucking problem. Like, they get there, and I'm like, I could be battling against another hero or a villain character in it, and I'm like, I have to deal with these ninjas before I can deal with the primary threat, because their support is a fucking problem. But in this, they kind of reminded me of the Foot Clan from, the original Ninja Turtles movie, where it's like...
I thought the exact same thing.
I want to go to this underground place and play video games and smoke beers, and then, the Shredder shows up, and he's like, welcome to your new family.
You do realize in the original comic books for the Ninja Turtles, the entire thing was a parody of Daredevil.
No, I get it. I do. I mean, but what I'm saying is that all
including
of that...
But
what I'm saying
turns the turtles into shit in his eyes.
Yeah, no, what I'm saying is that nice. with this, what I'm getting at with this is that in this iteration of the Foot, or in the now I'm calling him the Foot. In this iteration of it, they aren't a problem. They're just some people that are training some. They weren't a problem. They weren't these really problematic people there. It's like the entry level goons, and they made the Hand seem kind of derpy. You know what I mean?
Well,
and they're not.
For me, I think it goes in part to the disorganized sense of it. They wanted to have the big scary version of the Hand that's been fucking with everybody else, that Madame Zhao is clearly a part of, not a mastermind. We learned that. By the way, she was one of my favorite. Her, and of course, anytime Claire shows up, because so far she is my favorite thing.
I would love to see an episode just, a series about Claire. I think that would be awesome.
I like her as a supporting character because it's just enough for her to stay normal.
True.
For her to stay the grounded person that looks at all of them and goes, stop being stupid. But there was a whole lot of... They had like 3 different story ideas going at the same time. And if they had focused on one of them, it would have gone fine. Focus on the kids, because that turnaround on the son was very fast. Like, my head, like, he suddenly went from being the hugest prick in the world to, like, oh no, I'm okay.
Like, are you talking about Ward?
Yeah.
I hated him in the beginning because, like you said, he was such a fucking douchebag. And, like, not only did I hate him, like, he reminded me of all other whiny villain characters like Joffrey on Game of Thrones, or just whiny little douchebags. But he kind of did come to be a decent character towards the end.
Well, no, for my problem with it is that it was just like lightning fast how he became okay. Like there was, and on top of that, there was no fight for him to try and save his sister.
Mm-mm.
He knows what kind of a monster his dad is.
Yeah, and he just kind of was like, all right.
And it was like, oh, okay, well, I'm a good person now. Like, I'm a good guy now. Like, no. And because they didn't spend enough time, well, they spent too much time focused on him being whiny and not with him battling, trying to be a good person. He never tried to be a good person until the very fucking end.
Right.
It was just, he is the epitome of white male, straight, rich, corporate douche nozzle.
Which is
pretty much
where my disconnect comes from, because I don't identify with people like that, because I am myself not one of them.
Right.
Well, it's the problem of he was a caricature of that.
But don't you think that Joy kind of flipped the same way the other direction? Like, she went from trying to be friends with Danny to all of a sudden now she's almost where Ward was in the beginning.
Yeah, it was very like disorganized, because we also had this stupid subplot with the fighting between the cult leader, what's his fuck, and Lady Zhao.
Mm-hmm.
Or Madame Zhao.
Bakudo.
She is such a better character.
Yeah, I thought Bakudo's character was really... yeah, just, I don't know. But see, like Roper was saying, I got the same impression that the hand...
Told you.
The hand wasn't that necessarily that much of a threat because they were too busy fighting amongst themselves. Like, I liked the subplot of Danny and Davos much better. Like, Davos was one of my favorite characters, and I like the fact that I feel like, again, he almost flipped to being bad too quickly.
My problem with Davos and his entire storyline is it shows up literally out of nowhere near the last third of the season. We do not give Davos enough time. His flipping, I'm so used to the comic books, that one makes sense to me because he's actually always been that way. Mm-hmm. Like, 'cause the comic books get to show you the entire time Danny was being raised and taught by the monks and shit, Davos was a jealous little bitch. But we didn't get enough time in the fucking show.
Well, because they took almost 3 seasons worth of story and compressed it down into a short 1 season.
Yeah, they had the 3 different storylines. They had the Joy and Ward storyline, which went nowhere, and both of them changed so goddamn fast that it's unrealistic. We had Davos, who his being a bad guy should have made sense, and it shouldn't have been a neck snap due to the fact that if they had focused on maybe just Davos and the Joy and Ward storyline and left out all the bullshit with the cult.
Yeah.
Like, I get
that should have been a season 2 thing. And they shouldn't have waited so long to put Iron Fist out. It should have came out way back, like season 2 of Daredevil, and when Jessica came out, and they would have had time to tell these stories. Yeah, because the whole cult thing would have worked much better, especially with the girlfriend. Have an entire season of her being super awesome and there for him and having his back, and then the second season after he's met Luke, and Luke having been through in both Jessica's show and his show, he's been through some shit with people. Right. So he would be the one person that'd be like, hey, Danny, I don't think you should trust her.
Hey, bro.
And that would have led into
nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Hey, bro.
I know some crazy bitches.
Like, I was married to a crazy bitch. I was banging this one crazy bitch who can punch through fucking steel. Like, she killed a fucking mind controller. Yeah, by the way, I've had my mind controller. You need to get away from her. She acts weird. Like, it would have made way more sense for Luke to have been the one that's like, yeah, bro.
Nudge, nudge,
Like,
wink, wink. Hey, bro.
And see, I'm also very disappointed that even in the very last episode, that they didn't have Luke make an appearance.
Well, he can't.
Well, I understand that, but they could have placed this in a different, time frame. But Marvel's all about concurrent. But you know what I mean? That it saddens me that there wasn't that. If they're going to rush this, then there should have been a little more of a payoff with their friendship. But there's so many things that they should have started sooner.
I don't even think starting sooner would have changed it. I think it's just they should have cut out the stupid cult bullshit.
Yeah.
That in itself. Give way more time because, yeah, the hand's been in the background for a while, but, like, we don't need to have this weird infighting that literally nobody cares about. Like, the audience doesn't give a shit about watching these two infight because it's pretty much the same way of putting two different when you see two different churches of technically the same religion, but one says is being totally cool and the other one's being totally douchey.
Yeah,
it's the same.
Just like
yeah, we know. Yeah, pick a religion. There are marauding Buddhist monks killing Hindus and Muslims in India. So
you know who you really have to look out for is those full bore atheist extremists.
I know we're the worst, aren't we? We keep repeating Hitchens.
Anyhow, because that's not where we're going with this. So, long and short of it is, it sounds like it's. I'm glad that I turned it off early for me, anyway. But you guys are telling me that the last two episodes are like kind of,
It kind of starts to pull itself together by its own bootstraps, but it still never quite gets there.
It's more the story doesn't get there, but the characters do.
Yeah, I mean, and the acting in the last couple episodes seems to get a lot better. The character development gets a little better, but like I said, I would recommend finishing it for the same reason I did, just to give you a little more context going into Defenders, if and when they refer back to anything, which I'm sure they will, considering how heavy the hand was. But anyways.
Well, especially because they clearly were showing. I cannot remember, and I think she's based off of an actual comic book character. The girlfriend. I can't remember her name.
Colleen Wing.
That's it. No.
Oh, but she wants to make the hand better.
Well, they did show after when they were strapping her to that machine and draining her of her blood.
Colleen Wing is an actual comic book character.
Yes, she is.
Marvel premiere number 19 in November of 1974. Her team affiliations have been known to be Heroes for Hire, Daughters of the Dragon, Nightwing, Restorations, LTD, and The Nail.
Now, see, the Daughters of the Dragon could end up becoming a thing because the other person on the other side of that is what's-her-face from Luke Cage, the cop.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah, for some reason her name escapes me, but yeah.
Keep going, I'll find it.
because she has because in the comic books she has a mechanical arm.
It's Misty Knight, by the way.
Misty Knight, yeah, they form a kind of a little team.
When you actually do a search of Daughters of the Dragon, it's what you get. You get a photograph of Misty Knight, which is what she looks like from the comic books, as well as Colleen Wing, which, by the way, the image here is a white chick with red hair for Colleen Wing.
Yeah, well, when you start writing comic books back in the day...
Yeah, but this one's...
in the 70s.
This one's actually doesn't appear to be that time frame.
No, but the character's probably already been established.
This shows, let's see here, first appearance, Deadly Hands of Kung Fu number 32. And let's see what that gives me. You guys keep on.
Anyway.
I'm gonna put away at these threads.
Well,
rabbit hole.
Since we're talking around Iron Fist, go ahead. You wanted to finish a thought. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, but when she starts questioning the hand and they hook her up to that IV that's clearly draining her of her blood, that's clearly referencing Elektra being put in a very similar looking thing at the end of season 2. Even though nobody liked the Elektra storyline in fucking
Deadly Hands of Kung Fu, written by Chris Claremont, was 1974 to 1977.
Now, see, what I wanted to discuss, and this kind of actually brings up a good point. With the Iron Fist thing, a lot of people were kind of jumping on the whole whitewashing thing because everything else lately has been whitewashed, which I will give 100% that they have. But in this particular case, the story of Iron Fist being, we discussed this a long time ago, remember, Josie, when we talked about when it was first announced, that he's an outsider. It makes sense for him to be who he is. He crash lands in the area. And then
the problem, a bunch of people tried claiming they whitewashed a white character.
Right.
He has always been right. And every argument I've heard on, he should be Asian, literally makes no fucking sense.
Well, now see, that's where I kind of want to segue into Colleen Wing. Now, some people were saying that this was the opportunity to take the old 70s, whitewashing, because they say the whitewashing goes, some of them, not all of them, who don't know who the character is. The ones that do were saying that they should have gone back and said, okay, we need to correct the original wrong. In this particular case, I think leaving Danny white was the right thing to do. But in the case of Colleen Wing, I think that was a good idea for them to transition.
Oh, yeah. I fully agree with that.
Her to being Asian. So you need to pick and choose your battles on the whitewashing, because it says that she was from a family of samurai and a Japanese martial artist, but the comic book art, she looks like a redhead from Wisconsin.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, no, that... It makes complete sense to make the character who has
East Side Norway.
Yeah, for sure.
But it makes sense to make the character with an Asian name and an Asian backstory actually the ethnicity of that matches it instead of the dumbass white character the comic books gave us. Oh no, that's getting mad about Tilda Swinton.
Oh, go ahead. Oh yeah,
sorry, getting mad about that makes some sense, but let's face the facts. There is a larger movie-going audience in China. The Chinese government will not allow a movie that has anybody who is Tibetan. Changing the character to Chinese is a bigger insult to the Tibetans than just making it a white lady.
Right.
So that one, you have a point. It doesn't change anything. When it comes to Iron Fist, you're complaining about a white character being white.
Right.
That's always my problem. And then the other thing I wanted to talk about, that had a similar issue where everybody in Japan went, but we don't care. And that's Ghost in the Shell.
See, okay, so with Ghost in the Shell, after the movie was over, because I went and saw it with Andrew and Jareth.
I had one last little nugget for Iron Fist before we move on.
Fine, drop your nugget.
It was just one quick little random thing. Did you guys ever see the the kind of not related Iron Fist movie by Wu-Tang RZA.
Iron Fisting?
The Man with the Iron Fists. It was loosely based off of Iron Fist.
Oh yeah,
yes, I did.
Yeah, I've seen.
I was trying to make a sex joke there. Y'all dropped the ball. So
no, I just
it.
moved forward.
All right, fine.
But he actually directed one of the episodes of Iron Fist. So
yeah.
So just a little random nugget there.
Oh, you leave your nuggets with me, please.
Ghost in the
I
Shell.
did see that. So Ghost in the Shell. After we were walking out of the movie. So Jareth pointed out something. Okay, for those of you who all don't know, for me anyway, what's her face? Scarlett Johansson looks very much like what the Major looked like from the cartoons. In my opinion, she does
exactly.
She looks just freaking like her.
You can cast her in anything, and I'll watch it. She could have been Danny Rand, and I would have been happy.
I think that's one of the things. Like right now, is she's in everything, right? But what I'm saying is she, like, if you actually pull up a picture, and I've done this, I've pulled up a picture of both her and the Major.
She looks exactly like her.
They look they look like her. They made a good choice there. But here's what they did in the movie.
There was a segment. There was an actual segment where people went on the street of Japan and asked people, like the Japanese people, what do you think of this? And they're like, holy shit, this movie's going to be amazing. She looks exactly like the Major.
Yeah.
Everyone in Japan was down for it.
Many of the creators who addressed the issue of whitewashing said, no, we never said that this character was ever Asian.
Right. Well, okay, so here's the deal.
In the movie and in the anime about, like, she's a human brain in an artificial body.
Yeah, but here's the deal. Through the movie, they keep going. You're the next step. You're the better version of humanity. They're basically saying you are just so much better, right? You're better than you were. You're better than all of us. You're just better, right? And then partway through the movie, you meet her human mother. Right, and her human mom is a little Asian lady, and so after the movie theater, after we were done with the movie and we're walking out, Jareth's like, "That was super racist." And we're like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Basically, they were like, we made you better. You're white now."
That's not what they meant.
I know, but it's how he took it. You know what I mean? He was just like, yeah, they had an opportunity here to just remake her, and they remade her as a white chick, and they're like, "You're better now." And I was like, I see where you're getting that contextually as far as like what it is you're presented with the information. I don't necessarily agree with it because I still think that they were gunning for the same look and feel as what the Major herself was from the comics, or not the comics, the manga, as well as Ghost in the Shell, the original, as well as Standalone Complex. And I think they did a great job. I really do.
The movie isn't just the live action movie isn't the original movie by itself. It also adds Standalone Complex and the TV show.
Yes. So here's the problem. If I were to ask either of the two of you from the original movie and the comic, I keep doing that. Okay, so from the original movie and Standalone Complex, okay, what is that supposed to be about? Like, what is the tone and the feel, and like, what is its message?
Okay, have you ever heard of a philosophy book called Do Robots Dream of Electric Sheep?
Yes.
That's what it's based off of.
Right.
So is The Matrix.
I get that, but what you're doing is you're giving your answer with another piece of media, and what I'm looking for is like what it's about. See, because what it's supposed to be about it is humanity. It's supposed to talk about how where the person that's in there starts and stops versus where the machine starts and stops, and at what point do you stop being yourself and just start being a robot? Right.
Well,
it's about
that's usually referred to as the singularity.
And it's about identity. That's what it's supposed to be about. Well, whenever it comes to this movie, they changed the tone of that. I mean, dramatically. I didn't get the same thing, and some of the shots I didn't get that from it. Some of the shots that were done, a lot of the tone that was behind those moments, because they tried to mirror both the TV series as well as the original movie. They tried to mirror some of those things frame for frame, and they did a good job, but the tone and the feel behind those moments seemed different than what it originally was.
Well, it's also because you're granted a lot more time and just literally time in animes to sit in silence. That's one of the reasons that all of the Studio Ghibli movies have part of the contract is they cannot be edited because you need every moment of time. Where the live action movie tried to shove in not only the original Ghost in the Shell anime, but standalone complex, and then the prequel series. And that also means it was relying on the audience. I'm probably the only one, like one of those few people that I have watched every part of the anime for Ghost in the Shell.
Oh yeah, no,
because
I sat down whenever I first heard this was coming back out. I sat down and I kicked on the original movie. I watched it all over again, and I sat there and leading up to the film's release, I started watching Standalone Complex over again. And I tried doing the same thing. I was like, yep, that's from this. Yep, that's from this. Okay, I remember that. Yep, okay, that's this. And that's why I'm matching, point for point, going, it's not the same feel. It's not the same as it was, and it's different, and it's somehow they've altered the message to go from I do because they changed the tone. They changed the tone from being about humanity and identity and the separation between the person that's in there and the machine to more directly with her and her individuality exclusively versus this greater sense of everyone. They were forcing a lot of the technology and the visual aspects on us in the movie, making it a much bigger thing. Whereas whenever you watched it in the anime series, or if you watched the original movie, you got less of that. And there were all of these cyber enhanced people that were visually that way in those those deals. I mean, like, when you look at the Major, you didn't necessarily, aside from the holes in the back of her head, you didn't necessarily peg her for a machine. Bato, the only thing you can tell about him is his eyes. And by the way, they did a phenomenal job with Bato. I think he needed to start off with his eyes already the way they were, but it laid the groundwork for it and things of that nature.
Well, again, they wanted to add stuff from the prequel.
Right. And that's where that touched upon. But I still think they did an awesome job with the guy that they picked for it and how they made him look and just everything about it, right? So it all looked good. It's just that they changed the focus, and it was slight. The message is close, but it's still slightly different, and that was just one of the hang-ups that I had with it.
Like, I see how you feel that. For me, it's the exact same thing, just in major movie form. They put so much in that the tempo had to go up. So instead of getting to sit and dwell and think about things with the character, they had to keep moving because they literally can't afford to take the time on it because they want to add stuff from the prequel series and Standalone Complex and the movie. Right. And here's this random thing that not until I got home and watched a YouTube video. There was an entire section bit of information that was thrown into the movie that is not in any of the animes because the series creator had mentioned it was something he wanted.
Right. Well, but all of the source material has been about the same thing. It's always been about the same thing. It's the loss of humanity and transitioning into the singularity and the machine, right? That's what all of them have been. That has been their tone the entire time. And with this, they kind of eased away from that really deep, conversation piece, that really deep tone, and they almost put it at a side, at an angle. When in reality, all you really needed to do was, it's like, okay, Ghost in the Shell is that at heart. That's what it is. That's what the title is. It's It's what it's about. And instead of bowing away from it, instead of shying away from it, if they would have gone full steam ahead at that and taken that as what it is that they wanted to aim down the barrel at, I think it would have been, a much better film. Personally, you could have got away with a little bit more with it, but I don't know. It's like I said, it's just one of them things for me. Josh, did you have anything you want to say about Ghost of the Shell? I know you haven't seen the film, but
I mean, and it's been so long since I've seen the original anime that I wouldn't really be able to comment much. But Josie, one thing I want to remind you with Roper's opinion, you have to remember he has to find a reason to hate every movie he watches.
No, I don't. That is not true at all.
I'm just jacking with you.
I know. But this is the argument that we always have. I love movies. I do. I love movies. I love good movies.
I just hate movies.
Do what?
So you love to hate movies?
No, I don't. I'll give you an example. Power Rangers, the movie that came out, the new one.
Yes, I enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it. It was fun. I have one hang up about it, and that is it will go down as the pinnacle of product placement.
I don't know about that. I will say.
Are you kidding me?
Whenever talking about it.
Are you kidding me? After they sat there and they were like, "Oh, Krispy Kreme must be the center of the universe."
Yeah, well, but I thought the movie was actually an outstanding movie up until the point that they morphed.
Well,
the moment that they morphed, it became another campy ass TV show, just like the original. And I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me? You had a compelling story."
I was having so much fun with it. Like right there at the beginning of the movie, I was like, so much fun. I was enjoying myself. Right? I was like, this is really good. And then suddenly she's like, "It must be the center of the universe." And I'm like, "Are you kidding me, Krispy Kreme, right now? Like this is worse than the IHOP Superman."
I was about to say
it is worse than the IHOP Superman.
I don't know. They really kind of.
The first thing that popped in my head when you talked about that was like, wait,
no,
in
up,
Man of Steel?
This straight up dethrones that.
Yeah, that I will admit that's pretty bad. And
to have Rita Repulsa stand there and go, "Krispy Kreme must be the center of the universe." Yeah.
Well, some can argue.
No, you can't. As a former cop, because I've been a cop for 10 years and I just quit. Now I'm working on heavy duty engines and things of that nature. I get a lot of jokes from a lot of people, and the majority of those jokes are, "Hey man, you want a donut?" And I get that a lot. The thing is, I've never really liked donuts. They're not one of my things.
There's something absolutely wrong with you.
I'll have them on occasion, but it's like super rare. I don't like them. They're just not. They're not my thing.
I don't like Krispy Kreme donuts, but I like regular donuts.
Have you ever had a Hertz donut?
Yeah.
No, no, nothing. There's actually a place in town called Hertz Donuts.
Hertz Donuts, yeah.
Okay, lovely.
Yeah, and they're delicious.
Moving on!
They have maple bacon bars.
Okay, that sounds good.
Yeah, this episode brought to you by Hertz Donuts, apparently. So, all right. So I know that we got started here just a little while ago. I'm not even 100% sure on my record time. It looks like we're sitting at about 37 minutes, so we're actually doing really good on time.
That sounds about
right. I think that now would be a good transition to the next moment, which I know that Josh, you were wanting to talk about some DC stuff because I feel like you're being a little left out on Ghost in the Shell.
Meh, I don't feel left out ever. I'm usually left in too long. But
Overcooked is your middle name.
I do watch a lot of DC TV, which is heavily on the CW right now. Pretty much all on the CW as far as I know. Though there's some other things in the works that I really won't get into right now because it's got canceled and restarted. Teen Titans was supposed to come out on cable, but it kind of got delayed. TNT dropped it, but Jeff Johns is like, "No, bitch, we're gonna do it anyway." But anyways, I digress. So I won't get too much into Arrow. Like everything else this past month, it's been kind of There was a Prometheus arc that has nothing to do with Prometheus from the comic books. It's basically just another Dark Archer rehash.
They're wasting everything that is the Prometheus storyline out of the comic books.
Oh, it's not even the same character. as the Prometheus from the comic books, which is very sad. It's just another dark archer who got some assassin training, just like Merlin. Didn't go as high as Merlin, and got it from Talia Al Ghul versus the other Al Ghul that they were using, because they used both his daughters. But anyways, it's really not that great of a storyline. Everyone knew who it was kind of coming into, as the story built. They tried to do a big reveal, and it didn't pan out. But Supergirl, being in a different universe, is kind of disjointed. They do cross over every once in a while. There was a great crossover in which the Star Labs on Flash had purchased a hangar that on one side of the hangar looked exactly like the Justice League Hall. So that was kind of neat because they did kind of a Justice League team up. But as far as Supergirl, it's a great show, but it's still kind of disjointed from the rest of the universe. What I really want to get into is Flash. They've been doing a Savitar arc lately on Flash, and it's been outstanding. We don't know who Savitar is. To give you a little bit of a background, Josie, I'm sure you know who Savitar is from the comic books. He was basically a Cold War pilot for some third world nation. I can't quite remember. But anyways, his jet gets hit by a lightning bolt, and I guess apparently that's how you become, a speedster, get hit by lightning. And the show is taking it kind of a different angle. We don't know how he got his powers. He looks a lot different in the comic books. He looks just basically like a hulked out kind of guy with a little bit of armor. In the TV show, he's kind of looks like Megatron from Transformers. He's very metallic. It's kind of interesting. Yeah. But he says what's interesting on his creation, he says, Flash, you created me. And when he asks who he is, he says, I'm your future Flash. So there's a lot of theories about who Savitar is, that he may be the future Flash. If you've been watching the show, when they defeated Zoom was trying to create a weapon that would destroy the entire multiverse. And they were using speed to power it, and Flash had to basically chase down Zoom. And he was also had one of, I forget if it was Iris or Wally, tied up at the same time. And in order to save him, what Flash did was to create a time remnant of himself. He went back like just a half a second and created two versions of himself. And our Barry went to save the hostage while the time remnant defeated Zoom, but he also got sucked up into the Speed Force at the same time. So my personal theory is that Savitar is actually the time remnant of Barry Allen, and he's kind of pissed at Barry because Barry has everything, and now the time remnant has nothing. He's been stuck in this in the Speed Force for a while. We had Alchemy on the show for a while. That was really cool. It took place right after they did their own version of Flashpoint, where Barry went back and saved his mom.
Yeah,
obviously, it was
when you say that this time remnant he's basically it's still him. It's just that it's not
right. It is and it's not. Basically, what Barry did is he just jumped back in time.
Yeah. Did you ever see the movie back in 2000 with Arnold Schwarzenegger called The Sixth Day?
Yes.
Where he's a clone.
Yes.
And then he finds out that through the whole thing, he thinks that he's the original and not a clone. And then he comes to find out that he's a clone and not the original. That's kind of what that reminds me of. Like, when you're telling me this, that's like I immediately Googled this movie and was like, man, I think this sounds really familiar to me.
And it's possible that our Barry is the time remnant and Savitar is actually Barry.
Ooh.
That could be, we don't really know. And it could have nothing to do with the time remnant. But
maybe you're grasping at straws.
Maybe, because there's another theory that the current version of Harrison Wells on the show, if you're following the show, he's kind of like the patriarch of the show. He's kind of the mentor of the team. And the first version was actually Reverse Flash, Eobard Thawne, who had face changed himself.
Oh, okay, JD's brother. Yeah.
Yeah. And
sorry.
No, you're fine.
Sure.
And then they scooped another one from the multiverse, and apparently he's an idiot. He's not as smart as all the other Wells, but I don't believe that's the case. There's something else going on with him, but I don't know if he's Savitar. But they've included a lot of different versions of the Flash so far. You have the Golden Age Flash of Jay Garrick. One of the versions of Harrison Wells, his daughter becomes Jessie Quick, not Johnny Quick, but Jessie Quick. Because of Flashpoint and Alchemy, Wally West has now become Kid Flash. There has been another Flash on HR's original planet, H.R. Wells' original planet, who has purple lightning, and he kind of wears, I would almost say, like a Arabic-style outfit. I don't know, kind of a loose-fitting, it's hard to describe, but he has purple lightning. No one really knows who that is yet. And then, we've had two versions of Reverse Flash, Professor Zoom, so we've had quite a bit of the Flash family. I'm hoping in this arc, because it's Savitar, we also get to see Max Mercury show up and Johnny Quick with the Infinite Universe that he's passing through. It's possible that we will see some of these other characters, but if you're not watching Flash, I would definitely say that's the one DC show that people should be watching. Arrow's kind of petering out lately.
So basically what you're saying is this person with this purple lightning speedster is like Mace Windu, but Flash version.
Kind of. You only see him for a half a second because there's another character that's able to vibe like Cisco. Cisco's able to like peer into other dimensions and also teleport himself and other people. She shows up and delivers something. So people are all freaking out over who this purple Flash is, even though it could have just been hey, there's a speedster on this planet. Or this universe, and has nothing to do with anything. But
you have nothing to do with anything.
There's a lot to talk about with Flash.
So the other day, I actually sat down and I watched a bunch of YouTube videos, because that's what I do anymore. Is I check out stuff on YouTube because why the hell not? And I actually watched. Free. Yeah, I watched the Flash fight Grodd. On a couple different occasions. Grodd. That was a while, not too long ago. Because Gorilla Grodd is awesome.
Yes. I thought they did a pretty good job with Gorilla Grodd. They teased it, or they kind of touched on him back in season one, I want to say.
What was the other one called? Salazar?
I think so, yeah.
I'm going to Google.
The whiter looking one?
Yes.
Yeah. And then they actually threw Gorilla Grodd into the place where he actually goes to Ape City, and Ape City returns with the help of that other vibe chick called Gypsy.
I was right.
And she brings the entire gorilla army back to our universe.
Yep, I was watching that nonsense. That was good business. And
yes, it was.
Yeah, I was sitting here watching it, and I was like, I might be able to watch this show. I haven't taken the time to watch most of the DC stuff.
You need to roll back and just kind of see at least do Flash.
For me, the thing is I haven't gone through and watched most of the live action DC stuff. What I've been doing here recently is I've been watching a lot of the animated stuff.
Amazing.
I've backpedaled quite a ways. Actually, watched the 2010 Justice League Crisis on Two Earths the other day.
Mm-hmm.
Because
there's a new one out, too.
Yeah. Was it Crisis on Infinite Earths?
No. There's a new just DC anime. It's Teen Titan... I just watched... I just watched it the other day, and I can't remember the title. The Judas Contract.
Oh, okay. The other one that I just got done watching a little while ago was Justice League Dark, which super awesome.
Yes.
If you haven't watched that,
That was very well because it is supposed to be the same Constantine from the TV show.
Yeah, it is super good. I love my favorite scene of the whole thing is when Batman scares one of the ghosts. I don't know if you guys have seen it or not, but he's standing there, and there are these specters that are there, and Constantine and everybody else, they can see them, and Batman's like, what is he doing? He's talking to ghosts. He's just standing there, and this ghost is like right in his face, and he's like, this one has escaped us numerous times. I think they're supposed to be like Reapers or something like that, and he just goes, boo, and they actually get away from him. It is super awesome. But
it's everything.
The mortals aren't supposed to see them.
Right, exactly. And he's just like, boom. By the way, I have come. Okay, so I have two characters, and I've said this since like the early mid 90s. I've always said that for Marvel, my characters, as far as like my favorites, have been Deadpool, and as soon as Deadpool hit the shelves, I was like, "Fucking Deadpool, man!" And then the other one is War Machine. Those two have always been my thing, right?
Right.
And then as far as bad guys went, it was always Sabretooth. Those were my guys, right? And I know those are kind of obscure, but those were my picks, right? Do what?
Obscure?
Obscure as can be, but they, at least I was true. I wasn't like, oh yeah, mainstream stuff just because I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. But now anymore, Deadpool is like mainstream stuff, and fucking War Machine is kind of mainstream stuff as well. And all of them have kind of hit that same level in my point of view because that's what it is. You know what I mean? But back in the day, back in the 90s, it wasn't.
Sabretooth's never been obscure.
Do what? Do what?
Sabretooth's never been obscure.
Right, but I mean, as far as if you were to find most people nowadays who don't have a lot of knowledge of comic books themselves, right, they're going to have a better sense of comic book characters nowadays than they did back in the 90s. You see what I mean?
True.
And so back in the 90s, these were my picks, right? And I didn't read a whole lot of DC, so if I was going to give you an answer on DC, I'd probably pick one of your mainstream superheroes. Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Flash, the big guys, because they're the ones that I knew, because it's not something I read. But after I've been, kind of picking up here recently over some of these things, Owlman is like my favorite character.
He's fucking awesome as shit.
Owlman is amazing.
After I watched him on Crisis on Two Earths, I was like, dude, Owlman is like, he is heartless.
Oh shit. Yeah.
And the fact that he's just there at the very end, and he's like, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
And he just smiles at it. This bomb's getting ready to go off and blow up the entire planet. He's on. He's like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But see, one thing that I would really, the reason I want you to watch at least Flash is because Jeff Johns is in charge of the CW, or they're calling it the Arrowverse, but the CW, universe. Jeff Johns has been a comic book writer for DC for a very long time. He's also in charge of the DC online video game as far as the writing goes. He oversees the TV shows. Recently, as of the end of last year, and I told you this, he took over the DCEU. He's in charge. Matter of fact, I'm looking at a title of an article right here that says, Jeff Johns on the future of DC movies. Relax. We're changing everything, in which he admits, in the past, I think the studio said, oh, DC films are gritty and dark. That's what makes them different. They couldn't be more wrong. In addition, he also said they admitted many of those changes are going to be seen in Zack Snyder's Justice League. Well, no, not those changes. He wants to get away from the direction Zack Snyder went. So,
because Zack Snyder pretty much just tried to copy and paste Christopher Nolan's bullshit. And we were tired of Christopher Nolan's bullshit by the third Dark Knight movie?
Well, not only that, they said, the direction Batman took in torturing victims and stuff like that wasn't... but basically, he's taken over the... in the aftermath of BVS, they said, "Oh, you're fucking killing it on CW. Fix it." So that's why I have hope going forward, is because he's heavily involved. What?
Did you hear about Joss Whedon?
No.
Taking over Batgirl.
Batgirl?
Yep. Joss Whedon is going to be doing Batgirl.
As far as a movie or a TV show?
I believe movie. Oh, nice.
I did not know about this. I do know that they're going to be doing the Sirens of Gotham.
One day ago, I'm looking at, this is Collider.com, Batgirl casting Joss Whedon movie talks. And it's the header is Movie Talks Joss Whedon on casting Batgirl, James Bond franchise bidding war. And on this episode of Collider Movie Talks, Friday, April 21st, 2017, they are discussing the following. Joss Whedon talks Batgirl movie as an origin story.
Well, they've already talked about, they dropped that they're doing Nightwing, and now that they're doing a Batgirl movie, the theory that I had heard originally that they might, DC wants to do a Batverse, kind of makes sense now.
Oh, yeah. Especially because thanks to the train wreck that was Bat v Superman, we have already established and made it a part of the canon of this universe that the Robin, at least one of the Robins, has already existed, and it was the second Robin in the comic books that got killed.
Right.
So Nightwing could definitely be out there, and I would love to see a Tim Drake.
They showed the Robin suit. Gordon mentions playing with others again, and also in Suicide Squad when they are listing what do you call it, the crimes of each person under Harley Quinn, they wrote her in as an accomplice to the death of Robin.
Yeah, I would love Tim Drake. I would love a Tim Drake because we've had plenty with Dick Grayson. And him as Nightwing is such a better character than him as Robin. Tim Drake is my favorite fucking Robin.
Yeah, it's exciting where Jeff Johns could take the DCEU. And like I said, they've already also announced the Gothams of Siren, or the Sirens of Gotham, excuse me, which was where probably a Batgirl will cross over into that. They just need to cast a Catwoman and a Poison Ivy now.
You mean you don't like Halle Berry?
Well, considering that she's kind of past her prime.
Anne Hathaway was the last Catwoman. What the hell are you talking about?
I know, but
he's going back to the standalone.
That's where I'm going. I mean, come on.
The standalone Catwoman, which was terrible. Terrible movie.
By the way, side note, have you seen the trailer for Colossal? I need to go see that. It looks fucking hilarious.
No, I have not.
I'm Jason Sudeikis and Anne Hathaway.
I'm going to YouTube now.
She has control of the kaiju.
Before I get to doing all that business and watching all that nonsensical stuff, we are rapidly approaching our time limit here, and I know that Agent Dawson has places that she needs to be. So, and there's the warning train right there. Yeah, there's the warning train right there. So let's go ahead and aim at if you two. Do you guys have dossiers of some characters you want to talk about? What? Dossier, characters you're wanting to talk about?
I was going to talk about
Train Man.
Fuck you, Train!
I'm sorry, I can't even hear it. I don't know how you guys can hear it.
It sounds like it's right there with you.
I can barely hear it.
You need to adjust.
It's just gonna get louder.
It's gonna get louder? That sounds okay, that's weird because it sounds like it's getting quieter. With each blow of the horn, it sounds like it's getting quieter and quieter. Anyhow, so Josie, you said you had character.
Mira. I want to talk about the Queen of Atlantis.
Excellent.
Oh,
yes, because she is legitimately she is in the first Aquaman comic book, the one that aired printed in 1963, which is the same year my mom was born. Yeah, she is like legitimately one of the few characters that's been there from the beginning.
First appearance, Aquaman number 11, September of 1963, created by Jack Miller as the writer and Nick Cardy as the artist.
That's number 1.
According to
I'm on the DC website.
According to Wikipedia of Mira for Mira and from the comics, so it's Mira's page, but this is the comics iteration of that title. It shows that publication information, publisher DC Comics, first appearance Aquaman number 11, September of 1963.
Website. I'm on the DC website.
Interesting.
Yeah, the website through DC Comic Books says Aquaman number 1, 1963.
I wonder if because this
a little bit more than the people who do it for free on Wikipedia.
Well, then go to Wikipedia and change it because you can do that. But this is talking about first appearance.
Yeah, first appearance Aquaman number 1, 1963. That is what the DC Comics website says. And then it says, first appearance in New 52, Aquaman number 1, 2011.
Let's see here.
I love that they don't mention the after Infinite Crisis on Infinite Worlds. That should count as another first appearance.
What the shit is this? Okay, I don't know if that actually made it through to the recording. I went to the DC's page and it started playing music at me.
Oh. Well, she's a princess of the underwater kingdom of Zebel.
What link are you going to?
I'm on the characters page.
Well, let's focus on who she is. I guess we don't need to focus on where she, her first appearance. We know that she's an Aquaman.
Yeah. Who possesses enchanted strength. Because all of them do.
And Jesus.
Because they're watery, magical peoples.
Exactly. She was originally trained to kill the current king of Atlantis. I think she was originally trained by her dad to kill Aquaman, but was like, but he's sexy.
But he's hot.
He's sexy, and he looked at me and went, "Damn, those titties are big. You want to be my wife?"
Until he kills her in an alternate reality and gets with Wonder Woman.
Well, yeah, but those are the alternate realities.
Oh, wait, no, Wonder Woman kills her. But anyways.
Something like that.
Anyways.
I mean, there's an entire one of the Earths is literally just the Bizarro versions of everything.
Right.
So the alternate universes usually don't mean too much. She was meant to assassinate him. Part of getting close enough to him is, of course, she's hot as shit. But then they fell in love because apparently that happens.
It does, unfortunately.
She has become a hero in her own right. She has defended Atlantis multiple times by herself, like a bamf. One of my favorite moments for her is when during Blackest Days or Darkest Days or something like that.
The Green Lantern zombie thing? Yeah.
The one that ended in a piss poor manner.
Mm-hmm.
It was so cool up until that ending. But she got a Red Lantern ring, which fits her so well.
Yeah.
She's far more angry than any other Atlantean. Like, even Black Manta can't fucking compete with how rage.
I hope that comes across in Justice League and Aquaman.
I do too. But when all of the remaining heroes were given lantern rings, she was one of the ones that became part of the Red Lanterns.
Nice.
And oh man, she was awesome. She was like, yeah, I already am super strong, but now I can spit the equivalency of napalm out of my mouth. Come on, fuckers! Yeah, nice. She does have a bigger problem because she is so ingrained with being an Atlantean and being one of the underwater folk. She kind of has problems of being like, yeah, but I don't get why I should help those on land. Like, I really don't see the point. She has, of course, as mentioned, super strength, durability, control over water itself. She can pretty much swim endlessly, and she can breathe underwater. But those are kind of givens.
Right.
Yeah, and that is the queen.
That is Mira, Queen of Atlanta. Nothing? Atlanta?
Oh, God.
Nothing?
Oh, my.
I was waiting for it. I was like, anybody? Nothing? Okay, we'll leave it alone. So, Josh, you have any more follow up with this?
I do, and it's kind of a it's an official character. Let me start out with saying it is an official DC. Well,
I'm suddenly not buying this.
It is. It is an official character. When Marvel and DC get together once in a blue moon, every so often, and they do stuff together. And one of the characters that was born out of this little coupling is Darkclaw. His name is Logan Wayne.
Darkclaw is an iteration of both Wolverine and Batman together.
Yes, it is.
Wolverine and Batman.
Little bit about his background is at the age of 5, after witnessing his parents' murder, Logan Wayne is sent to live with his uncle in Canada, who was in the Canadian Mounties. He was also then murdered and sent to live with nuns until he joined the Royal Canadian Air Force with the landing a job with Creed H. Quinn. Yes, I know. Anyways, they became a part of the Weapon X project, the Canadian Super Soldier program. Adamantium was bonded to his bones. Fast forward, he becomes a badass detective and playboy by the day, Wolverine, Batman by night. So everything that you love about both is actually what this character is. I mean, he has a little bit of all the great and terrible things of both characters. And he has worked with the JLA a little bit. But, I don't know. I found it very intriguing. I was watching a YouTube video about different versions of Batman, and all of them were just, your basic, original Batman, the future Batman, and all this other stuff. And then they're like, and Logan Wayne. And that's where I kind of lost my shit. I'm like, no fucking way. And it is an official crossover. So what's nice, though, is his arch nemesis is Hyena, a combination of Joker and Sabretooth. Even though Creed was the Harley Quinn, kind of amalgamation. They put everyone together. Like his sidekick is Sparrow, which is Robin from DC, and Jubilee from Marvel. And I don't know. So it's kind of neat. If you get a chance to check out the comic that he's in, which is basically the Legends of Darkclaw, came out in 1996. It's definitely worth checking out for something a little bit different. So that's my guy.
I have done one of those type of characters before on this show, where you and I were actually talking a long time ago. Guy worked with Devil I'm trying to find him right now. He worked with Devil Dinosaur and all that good business, and he's crossed.
Oh yeah, I remember you talked about him before.
It was a long time ago, and I cannot for the life of me remember what this guy's name is. I want to say it starts with an A. But his ability, his power is dimensional travel between Marvel and DC universes.
Nice.
Like, that is what he does. And I'm trying to find him so I can name drop him, but I can't.
But something really cool about this guy is, he has the 3 Wolverine claws, right?
Right.
And he's got claw orangs.
Oh, Jesus.
He has a claw computer, a claw radar, a claw scanner, and a claw copter.
Yes.
But what's the best thing about him is the costume. When they made the design for him, it is, like I said, the best of Wolverine and Batman. Like, they did a really good blend between the 2 costumes.
And that's what, some of those characters are completely worth checking out, and then there's others where it's like, I don't know, man. I don't know.
Dark Claw is pretty badass.
I really wish I could find this guy because I can't remember what his freaking name is.
Yeah, I don't quite remember either.
But you remember me talking about him.
I do, because I remember going, that's kind of badass. He can bounce.
Yeah, he jumps universes, and yeah, I'll put a notation in the description for whenever I post this up and all that good stuff for this character. So, anyhow, Josie, you did DC. Josh, you did kind of
both.
DC. You did both, and I'm going to go back to DC, and we're going to wrap it up there. And mine is Johnny Quick. Johnny Quick is the name of 2 comic book characters out of DC Comics, each with the power of superhuman speed. One of them is a hero, and the other one is a supervillain. Now, I'm bringing him up because Johnny Quick is who we see in Justice League: Crisis on Two Earths, and the Batman in that universe in this movie straight up tricks him into. Open up using his speed to open up a portal, and it turns him into an old man by the end of it because he is a member of the crime syndicate of America on Earth 3, and he's like the bad guy version of the Flash, and he is a prominent member. Well, one version of him, the hero version of him, is a prominent member of the All-Star Squadron. And he is husband to Liberty Bell, and his daughter Jessie Chambers is assumed his speed mantra and became Jesse Quick, which you were talking about earlier on in this episode.
Different version, but
different version, yes, but it is one of them there. And of course, the one that I'm referring to is the Johnny Quick supervillain on the alternate Earth, again Earth 3. Who is a bad guy version of the Flash and a member of the Crime Syndicate of America, and one of his or I guess their main hero in that world is Alexander Luthor, which is the heroic counterpart to Superman's nemesis Lex Luthor. But anyhow, his abilities are super speed, possesses presumably similar to that of the Flash. Apparently he has flight, super speed, and able to vibrate through solid objects. So good business there. In the Batman of the world that we're checking out for Crisis on Two Earths, our Batman in that world tells the way he tricks him is he flat out tells him that he is faster than his world's Flash. He's like, sorry, man. I know. He tells our Flash, he's like, sorry, man. I know what your limits are. I know what your limitations as far as what your powers are, and you're not fast enough. And the other guy's like, well, by God, it's my turn then. And he steps up there to show off, and he only does it to protect his Flash. That's the only reason he tricks him, because our Flash would have been fast enough, but it also would have accelerated his aging and ultimately killed him. So good deals there, because our Batman, although he doesn't like anybody, he does care.
Yeah.
It's interesting that you mentioned the Syndicate, because there's been rumors that in the next season of The Flash, the Crime Syndicate may show up.
Really?
There are rumors.
Well, by the way, I need to mention this about the Crisis on Two Earths. I did not. I'm watching this and I'm listening to these characters and I'm picking out characters like Gina Torres is Superwoman in this, right? Mm-hmm. I'm listening to these people and I'm like, oh, I recognize that voice. Oh, I recognize that voice. Oh, I recognize that voice.
Michael C. Hall Batman in this one?
Let me see here. Batman is William Baldwin in this movie.
Yeah, everybody I love Owlman is
James Woods.
James Woods, yeah.
Yes,
it's perfect for his personality too.
Yes, it is.
I don't care.
I hate Superman's voice in this movie because it's Mark Harmon.
Mm-hmm.
And I cannot picture him outside of just being Mark Harmon in NCIS.
Right.
That's all I get, So here's Superman talking as Mark Harmon, and I'm like, I have this disconnect when I hear him speak in this movie.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's
understandable.
Just the way my brain works. Some characters, some people are just kind of programmed like that. James Woods, you're right, was flat out perfect for this thing, and I loved it. So anyhow, that's my character. That's my person, Johnny Quick. And was it Johnny Quick? Is that what it said? Johnny Quick?
Yep.
So, yeah, Johnny Quick. And, if you guys haven't already, check out the 2010 Justice League Crisis on Two Earths, as well as all of the other stuff that we've talked about here. I do want to end on another note. We talked about this during our Let's Play that I did the other night for Overwatch. Altower Media is doing, I'm doing several Let's Plays. I'm doing 30 episodes of different games that I'm playing right now. And one of the guys on the episode last night had a complete sentence with one word, and I didn't believe him. And then I looked it up, and it is actually a complete sentence. And Arch Crusader, one of the guys that checks out the show on a regular basis, he made a comment to us, and he made reference to this, and I had to look it up. This is, in fact, a complete sentence. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Buffalo, 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 Buffalo.
Okay.
That is.
Do you have to say it that many times to make it a complete sentence?
Yes, it is. If you go to Wikipedia, you could actually, because if you look it up, I searched Buffalo 7 times complete sentence, and you will find this. It says it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Actually, it's 8. 8 times is a grammatically correct sentence in American English because of the different iterations of what buffalo means. When you use it like this, that is what this is. And so it actually shows a sentence structure, a little diagram right here that shows proper noun, noun, verb, noun phrase, relative clause, verb phrase, and sentence. Like, it shows the breakdown of how this is a grammatically correct sentence.
That's terrible.
English sucks. English is amazing like this.
American English makes no good goddamn sense.
So the sentence, and then it goes and explains it right here. It says the sentence can be simplified because a buffalo is a bison, right? Mm-hmm. So if you change some of the wording here, it would be a bison from Buffalo, New York, who are intimidated by other bisons in their community, also happen to be intimidated by other bisons in their community.
Are they barbecue? Are they buffalo flavored?
I don't. That's a good question. So there is the city of Buffalo, which is one of the portions here. The verb, which is an uncommon usage, to buffalo, meaning to bully or harass or intimidate or to baffle. And then, of course, there's the animal, which is the bison. And that's why this becomes a complete sentence.
Wow.
It's super fucked up.
Yeah.
Anyhow, I had to share that, and I think it's a good note to end on right there. Guys, I appreciate you guys being on with me, and we'll get the next one out hopefully sometime towards the end of the month, as we've been trying to do. It's a little difficult juggling schedules, especially since I've switched jobs, and Josh is on the road, and Josie works when she wants to work, which is always if she gets the opportunity to.
Well, Josie doesn't work when she wants to work. Josie works when HEB. when the lovely, wonderful, I love you, HEB, you are one of the best grocery stores I've ever worked for because you treat me like a human, but I still work when they tell me to.
But we do have Guardians coming out here very, very soon.
Yes. And American Gods on the 30th.
And American Gods, yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be good. I am super.
I'm gonna temporarily have a Stars account.
Also, I don't know. I think Josh is completely aware of this, but Josie, I don't think you are. We're having a pie eating contest between myself, Allie, Sean, Andrew, and Jareth. And if you were up here with us, I would have you involved in it as well. But you are not, alas, and therefore you are not involved in this.
Eating them, I'd make them though. I do bake, so I'd make them.
See, I would totally have to. But that's the thing. I want everybody involved in it that would be here for it. And if you two were here for it, then I would absolutely have you involved in the pie eating contest in some
application. I would win.
I doubt that, fat boy.
I'm fat. I would win.
I doubt that. So I started a new job, and the first day there, one of the people came around, and I guess there's this committee that's supposed to inspire other people at that place to feel welcome and a part of the company, right? And they want to have the people that work there feel as if ownership of that place is kind of, with them as well, kind of deal. It's super cool. Anyway, they one of them came around to me and they're like, "Do you like pie?" And I'm like, "I love pie." And they're like, "You want to have pie on Thursday?" I'm like, "Hell yeah!" So I actually got the chance to eat pie with 15 other people in a pie eating contest, and I came in third. And the only reason I came in third is because I started choking on a piece of the crust like really early on. And I started coughing, and every time I would cough, I would try to jam more pie in my mouth, and it just wasn't working. So, outside of that, Josie, do you have anything you're wanting to plug away at as far as anything outside of this that you want people to be aware of, to check out before we conclude here?
We have our Patreon, and I crochet, and I also am thinking of refurbishing some old cigar boxes.
Oh, cool!
And putting those up on our Patreon. So if anybody, I need money, y'all.
Right. It's to develop the channel and to make everything sound better and be better and just all of that
get
stuff.
Get the stupid computer to actually fucking work.
I will say that since I think the last couple times, Josie, your audio is sounding a lot better.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I managed to run a debug on the phone I use to record. So,
and I sent you a computer, but we need to get it actually up and functioning. It would be a lot easier if I was there with it, but alas, I would need to take a day.
At least smell road trip.
I know. I've been wanting to take a road trip.
And Comic-Cons are coming up, so maybe we could do like a Dallas Comic-Con or something.
Ooh, that might be fun.
Or Austin or.
Well, I'm in Houston. Getting to Dallas is
wherever. I know you're down in the great big heart of Texas somewhere.
Down in the heart of Texas. Hey, just remember one very, very important thing. The rest of Texas hates Dallas.
That sounds good.
Well, I hate Dallas too.
Football team of
Texas. Any of our Dallas fans, I love you. I just don't like the city you live in.
I thought it was. I thought Austin was the one that everybody was turned off by.
No.
On a side note, we're talking about moving to Waco.
Are you?
Yeah.
Well, make sure you drink the Kool-Aid. So, Josh, do you have anything that you want to talk about and or make people aware of?
Yeah, actually, in addition to having fun here with my All Tower Media friends, I do another channel on YouTube called Nerdy Newsies, where we focus on more than just comic book stuff. We do dabble in that a little bit, but we also just talk about video games and other geeky nonsense. We do Let's Plays there as well. So if you want to check out some more nerdy stuff, check us out over there too.
Rock on. So that is us for right now. Be sure to like and subscribe. If you like this episode, you might like other episodes. Also be able to check out our episode, our site over there at Facebook. As far as our page there, and you might see giveaways and things of that nature coming up in the very, very near future. So hopefully,
free stuff is awesome.
Free stuff is awesome, and I'm going to have something online here here pretty quick. Just got to get. I just have to get one thing here to me, and then it'll be good to go. So that's all.
You're titillizing things.
Yeah. See, this is me doing more Spoilercast like stuff. Here in just a minute, I'm actually going over to the studio to record Spoilercast and
spoilers.
Yeah, I'm going to go over and do Spoilercast, and we're going to go over and do Spellcast back to back. We're doing both those tonight. So
good, because my podcast list is empty right now. So
by God, you're going to have some stuff. You're going to have some stuff to listen to here just very shortly.
Awesome.
Well, boys and girls, I appreciate everyone tuning in with us, and you all have yourself a wonderful evening.
Bye. Have a beautiful time.
Goodbye.